So let's dive in with necessary assumptions, since that's one of the most common question types,
Yes.
and it's the first one that you mentioned.
hmm
So what are you typically looking for in the choices for necessary assumption?
Well, from what I have gathered through the knowledge I've gained from other tools, necessary assumption is looking for more of a subtle assumption, an assumption without which an argument will literally fall apart. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. Now, it can be quite challenging because the mind's so used to, let's say, the sufficient assumption, where you're just looking for a basic answer choice and being able to find something that can literally break the argument itself. So I don't know if that kind of answers your question, but that's been quite kind of a challenge for me. But that's kind of what I look for in an answer choice.
Yeah, it is implicit. It's something that you already know based upon the stimulus. So I like to
hmm
think of it as, how can I squeeze as much out of this argument as possible? How can I extract all the information from what they have given me in that
hmm
stimulus if I had nothing else to go on? So, for
hmm
example, if we have the given statement, God
hmm
created the world, you can then infer from that that there is an underlying assumption that there is or was a God at some point.
hmm
If there was never any God, period, then how could God have created the world? So a person
Exactly.
who believes in that given statement is logically committed to also believing all underlying necessary assumptions.
Right.
So I think of
Okay.
these as a very specific kind of must be true question, where the
hmm
correct answer is not really new information. It's something that you already know based upon the stimulus.
Okay. So then, I mean, when must be true and most strongly supported, we definitely try to create an inference of our own. However, it's kind of literally given in the argument itself. So with the NA, would you suggest trying to identify or find something in the stimulus itself, or trying to add an assumption outside the stimulus?
Well,
If
it
that
may
makes any
not be
sense.
directly, the difference is that necessary assumption may not be explicitly stated in the stimulus anywhere, but logically it is required by the stimulus.
Okay.
So this can take two different forms most commonly. One is if there is something totally new mentioned in the conclusion that never appeared in the evidence, there must be some kind of link between that new thing in the conclusion and the evidence, or else the argument wouldn't make any sense.
Right. Okay.
Another big difference, of course, is that necessary assumption questions, by definition, relate to arguments, whereas
hmm
must be true and most supported can often be fact sets.
Okay.
The other thing that necessary assumption questions may have is where you are defending the argument against potential problems. Thanks for tuning into the show. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already to be notified of new episodes as I release them. And feel free to reach out if you need anything at all as you move forward with your prep. I'm happy to help however I can. In the meantime, I'll wish you all the best and take care.